So, Sean, it's a Sunday morning. We sat by a market. What were you thinking about as you sat here and watched everyone in the market?
I'm waiting for some friends, but things that are going through, I think, the head of any man or woman or anyone in the world right now towards this stage of their life, late 20s, is what do you want to do with your life? What do you want to make of it? And what do you want to be, the person that you want to be moving forward? And I think even for someone like yourself going around and you coming and asking me to do something like this, it's a very commendable thing to do because it's something of your own. It's something that you can make that's yours. It's not, in an office job, or you're not doing it for someone else, you're doing it for yourself. So I find people that do things on their own quite commendable, and I've always played around with ideas of what I would like to do that's my own, but I guess the hardest thing is taking the first step, and I'm sure you've been there.
It's interesting, the whole nature of having ideas versus doing ideas is something that sort of comes up in conversations with friends from time to time. Are you someone who puts things into action, or are you someone who contemplates and there's a lot of maybes?
A lot of maybes, because we put a lot of pressure into doing the right thing instead of doing something, and that is the biggest downfall of actually taking action, because you want to do it right. And I think whenever you do something, you have to accept you're probably going to get it wrong a lot of the time, and especially during those initial stages, you're going to make mistakes, and there is no one that's done something of their own who has ever said, I got it right the first time and I nailed it the first time and it was so easy and it was so smooth sailing from the get-go. So I think that's the biggest thing you have to accept before you go into taking action, which is that you're going to fail, and once you realize that, it's probably quite calming, isn't it?
Yeah, actually, not being afraid of failure is a great thing. Can you think of something when you've taken the step and you've been brave and it's gone wrong and it hasn't gone according to plan? Have you had that experience?
I have. So I'm from Australia. We started like a music collective over there where we started doing events and trying to book artists and everything. And we were very, very young when we started it. So it was almost like we didn't have the impeding doubt of yourself when you're very young.
Which is great.
It's great. It's fantastic. It's fantastic because you feel like nothing is wrong in the world. Everything is perfect. So you don't have that fear of failure at all. But along the way, we made so many mistakes. We made so many errors. We were very immature in some of our decisions, and looking back on some of the things that we should have taken for granted, we absolutely did not, and we thought too big of ourselves. So
That's been young. That's been young,
exactly.
You're invincible when you're young.
Exactly. Like you feel like the world owes you everything. You feel like you're the next special thing, but really you're just another person in the world of 9 billion people. So
that's depressing. Because the great thing about being young is the world is there for taking.
Exactly. But I felt like if you sustain that mindset throughout your entire life, you would probably feel like you would succeed in a way.
What was the nature of the music collective? When you say you were young, was this when you were at school? Were you in a band?
This was in like university. So I was about 19 or 20, and then my brother was 22, and my younger brother was about 18. And we were like, look, we're DJing at parties and stuff like that. Why don't we start our own thing and start playing at venues? And then it spiraled into let's book other artists to come in and play with these venues with us. And growing a collective is very difficult because you're very reliant on people coming to your events, so you need to make it special and you need to stand out from everyone else that's doing these events.
So suddenly you're into the hard sell.
Yeah.
Suddenly it's all about the projection.
Yes.
And that's a whole different thing from, hey, let's play some tunes we like.
Exactly. There was a whole business mindset that comes into it that we had no idea about.
Goodness.
And I very much so wish, because if you're an artist, you very much want it to be about the art as opposed to the means to bring it to life, which is the people coming and supporting and the venues that need to make a profit. So learning that was probably the hardest part, because you wanted to be focused on the art, but it's part of the parcel of what you want to do, isn't it?
So there's three of you,
Yeah.
three brothers.
Yeah.
It's interesting you did it with your brothers. You've obviously got a good click with them, and you're on kind of the same wavelength musically,
Yeah.
if nothing else.
Yes.
When it came to that kind of changing gears within this collective, did one of you suddenly come up to be the business person? Was one of you like the sales guy? Did your characters somehow help each other in the roles you took?
I would say, it's a very good question. I would say so, because it's not something that we had intended to happen. No one really knew which skill set was their forte.
Right, you have a go at that.
Exactly, and then I'll have a go at this, and then we'll see what happens out of it. Hopefully
That's
something
great.
materializes out
That's
of it.
lovely.
No, but I think over time we all knew that we had the same musical interests, and we were very aligned in our vision, and so we put a heavy focus on reaching out to artists that had never played in Australia or didn't have that exposure in Australia, but we knew people would like, because their music is great, and we could see that there's an appreciation for other similar artists in the scene. So we expanded out from that, and then that gets you recognition from other people who have made it somewhat in the scene, because they know these artists, but it's almost like they're confined by their business needs because these artists don't sell, but then they can see other people within their community.
So it's
like
kind of you relying on the fact that what you were providing would be helpful to somebody
Yes,
else.
exactly.
You're not just saying, here's the wage, can you do the gig?
Exactly.
It's more like it's kind of interconnected.
It is.
And you're helping us, we're helping you kind of style.
Yes.
And that's how you sold it to them, kind of?
Well, yeah. I mean, you speak to someone from, let's say, Spain, and who's an upcoming artist who have never even heard of Australia, or like Australia is like a different kind of landscape to them completely, and you say, we're from Australia, we really like your music. And I think with any creative person, when you hear something like that, you're like, wow, I'm getting that
somebody
recognition.
likes me.
Exactly. I'm getting that recognition somewhere, so it's great, and it's mutually
Everyone loves the
beneficial.
love.
Everyone
Yeah.
loves the love, and we're kind of helping each other out, and we never really paid these artists anything. We're just like, look, we love your music. It's during COVID. Can you send us an hour-long mix and we can post it on our channel? And we'll
See, that
do
sounds like a really good thing to do during COVID.
Yeah.
That sounds like
Because
it
everyone
would
had time.
really work. Did it
Everyone
work?
It did, 100%. Like
Oh, yeah.
we thought to ourselves, oh, these artists would never respond to us in any way, and then we were like, asking is free. You can just ask them, and then they would not respond, and that is
Fortune
the worst.
favors the bold.
Exactly.
Or the
And
brave.
It's not even that bold or brave looking back at it, but we just send them a message, and honestly, a lot of these artists got back to us and was like, yeah, sure, can you post it next month? And we're like, wow, great. And
So at this point, I'm thinking this is only going one way. This is super success. You're going to build up an amazing brand, and actually, this is the start of a brilliant kind of thing going on. Is that what happened?
no. No.
Oh no.
We know it's never that easy. We know it's never that easy.
What's the catch?
The
What's the
catch is
hitch?
that we did eventually get into a place where we could play at better venues and we could pull a bigger crowd. But I think the culture of going out, especially in Australia and probably around the world, people don't really want to go out and party until 5, 6 a.m. anymore. Like, not much as they used to, really. And the kind of crowd we're attracting, we're approaching our 30s now, we can't really go out that late.
So that's an interesting thing. Were you moving with your age? So when you were young, it was all night, it was like anything goes. And then as you get older, it changes shape a bit, and you change the nights that you go out with. And did your collective kind of change its approach as you changed? You weren't still trying to chase the young all-night clubbers?
No.
You were going for a different crowd?
No, we really wanted to maintain our age demographic and try and cater to that in some way. We didn't want to change our music with the times. I think the trend in music and what young people like listening to is very different to what we play, even though it's part of the same genre. But we were very focused and wanted to stay true to our vision in the music, so we didn't want to morph in any way and kind of succumb to that.
Do you, I mean, as a DJ, as someone who plays music, do you actually get stuck in a groove? Is it possible to continuously move with the times, or do you just stick with what you know, and that's actually a sensible thing to do? I'm just thinking of my own musical tastes. I know what I like. I like exploring stuff, but there's always going
gravitate
home to
back.
your
Exactly.
your playlist that you like.
Exactly. I think I'm very much the same when it comes to the music that I don't play, that I don't DJ, that I'll gravitate to something that I like. But this music is continuously changing because you follow artists that are continuously evolving with their musical taste, and it's changing every single year. But we try and follow that trend. But I think with the generation gaps, there's just a different taste altogether with these younger kids, really. And it's very hard to cater to that. And if there's another venue or another collective that are doing it or catering to that crowd week in, week out, and they have that credibility where these young kids can just go to, it's very hard to compete against that. So if you stay true to your vision, I think with time, it takes time. These things take time. And you need to consistently be active on your events and being active on your socials, and eventually you'll garner a crowd to like come.
See, that's what everyone says, is if you consistently, I mean, I'm doing it with this podcast, nobody listens to it, it's got a tiny audience, and people just keep on saying, just be consistent, keep doing it, I have the time to do it at the moment, but it doesn't guarantee success. What happened to, from then to now, between COVID and now, what's happened to this project with your brothers? Is it still live? Is it still a thing?
So right now, it's only active in Melbourne. So I live in London right now. It's just one of my very close friends who's kind of taken over, and he's been fantastic with the social media, and I'm meeting him later today as well. He's been fantastic. He's been now playing at other events, he's getting the recognition from other artists. So it kind of kicked off right before I left, and it was taking some good trajectory, and it's on the right path right now. Eventually, if I move back to Melbourne and try and get back into it again, I think it would be in a good place. But with me and my younger brother who now live in London, we try and get artists from London to try and so we meet them in person, we would probably go out to events, and then we say, look, we run a collective in Australia, can you do a mix for us or a podcast for us?
So you're keeping the collective going, but the brotherhood has kind of moved out of the direct delivery.
We did, yeah, because we couldn't rely solely on this. It's a project that we've had for like maybe 9 years, and it reached a point where we're like, okay, the rest of our life has to go on. We wanted to move to London eventually, and so we decided to do that, and we thought we could still help out in a weird way from here. It's not a lot of work, really. We're at a place where it kind of runs on its own. People reach out to us right now instead of us going out to them, which is a fantastic place to be. But
you see, going back to where we started with the idealism, with doing something that you loved, have you hardened up as things have gone on?
Absolutely.
Gone is the idealism. Gone is the softness.
No, 100%. You have to have a thick skin in anything you do, really. Like it's not difficult. It's not easy to be consistent because you're doing it for the hope that something at some point in time will come into fruition, and you never know when that is. That's the idea of being consistent with any project that you have. And maybe one day it will just blow up, and maybe next week you'll have 1 million people listening to this podcast, and then they'll look back on all the different episodes that you did prior to that.
Yes, and then with hindsight you make this great story about how you knew it was going to happen.
Exactly, but you never know that's going to be the case.
So you moved to London.
Yeah.
The collective and the identity of the music thing that you did stayed in Melbourne. What is life in London? What did you move here for, and how do you actually live?
I moved here because I don't think there would be another point of time in my life where I could live abroad and feel carefree about it. I think I was of the mindset that this is the last point in time where I could do something like this and not feel tied down by anything. So I can
just on that tie down thing, what are you talking about? Are you talking
kids, relationships, like partners?
Right. So
like,
I'm only young for so long.
Exactly, literally. So I was
seize the day,
carpe diem. So I moved here, and honestly, I don't look back on that decision at all. London is a difficult place to live if you're not from here because it's a big city. I don't have much family here, just my brother, And
Did you move together?
no, he was living in Milan for university, and then he moved to London, and then I moved maybe 5 months after that.
So you pitched up. I'm assuming just on the first day you're like, "Hey, bro, I'm in town. Can I keep on your flat? You know, can I be on your sofa because I don't know anyone."
I do know. So my housemate is someone that I went to school with in Malaysia. So there is a small group of us over here that I could like tie myself to. But then I've been quite lucky in that the people I work with are really, really nice, and they're really, really lovely, and they've made the move all the more easier. And it's great meeting people as you age, because it's very difficult to meet people in any other setting. But I've been very lucky in that I've met some people that I would consider quite close, and I've made it very enjoyable to move.
Did you move with work? Did you move for work, or did you move here and then get a job?
I was applying for jobs in Melbourne, and then I got the job, and they say, "Can you start in 3 weeks?" And I was like, "Yeah, done."
In London?
In London, yeah.
Great.
So yeah, so it made it very, very quick and made it very, very fast, which is what I wanted.
Is it anything to do with your music?
No, not at all, not at all. So I think I always come back to this conversation, especially with people coming into university, they're not really sure what they want to do, and they are passionate to follow their hobbies and try and study something related to the hobbies. You can do that, absolutely, but the chances are probably
you're laying me up.
Sorry?
You're laying me up for a complete change of direction. What you're doing is preparing the ground for saying, "I'm a chemical engineer." Or something.
Not a chemical engineer. I'm a software consultant, which is maybe not far off. But the reason why I do something that's completely different to the music is I am an inherently lazy person. I want to do.
That's very honest of you.
No, I can admit that. Aren't we all, really? Like, I've never met someone that isn't. I've rarely met someone that's like completely on it all the time.
Yeah.
I'm an inherently lazy person. The way I saw it was I want to do as little work as possible to get paid as much as possible to do artistic stuff outside of my work.
That's very admirable. I wish I thought like that when I was younger, and I might have chosen a different path. That'd be great. Earn enough money to do what you want.
Earn enough money to do what you want and have the lifestyle that you want, really. Because at the end of the day, I will not stay past my 5 o'clock time at work. I like, that's just a line I'm drawing. Like, you're paying me for this much, I'm done after that. I want to do my other stuff outside of it. And I can see that a lot of people that follow their passions during university and had gone into the field that they wanted to be a part of, they struggle really, really hard because everyone wants to do that. And I would say it's easier to take the other path, do something that's business oriented or something like that, marketing maybe, and then the skills are very easily transferable into doing a side project of your own. But I don't know if it's maybe a personality thing or a behavioral thing, but playing it safe is always a viable option. I'm very risk averse.
And yet, interestingly, sort of culturally, I think of playing it safe as it's got slightly negative connotations, hasn't it? It's kind of playing it safe. Well, you know, playing it safe, that's
You're not
boring.
going to get anywhere if you play it safe.
Yeah. Let's be adventurous. Let's take risk.
Yeah.
Risk-taking culturally in our culture is kind of like, that's cool.
Yeah.
I took a risk. I won big. You know, it's not. I played it safe and I slowly succeeded.
Yeah.
You know, it's a different thing.
Yeah, no, exactly. Like, I think the people that do want to not play it safe and be completely starstruck on the one thing that they want to do and channel all their energy into one of that, they probably are thrill seekers in a way. Mm-hmm. I would like to say that, because they want the ups and downs, and they're willing to go through the ups and downs, and they kind of cherish the ups and downs because they want that intense journey for them to be completely satisfied at the end.
Yes, and we all have friends like that who are the crazy friends.
Yeah.
And they're sort of admirable for what they do, but you kind of watch them and you get tired just watching them.
And you're
just
like,
I couldn't do that.
I could not
I
do
just
that.
could not.
Yeah. I see it a lot. And it's really inspiring. I like you said, I wish I could be that kind of person, but the volatility of it all is just something that I could not cope with, to be honest. It's just really strange for me to think that people would want to go through something that intense. But of the same token, I think
you've probably got a bit of madness in you.
We
all have.
You
know,
do
there's
have
probably times when you just go a bit crazy.
Yeah.
You take risks.
Yeah.
You just turn the dial a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
You must have done with your music collective, with your brothers.
Probably, yeah.
And also just when you came to London, start in 3 weeks. That's not playing it safe.
No, it's not playing it safe at all. It wasn't. But I was
brave.
I think that was the first intense or heavy risk thing I've done in a very long time, and I think that's what excited me.
How did it feel?
It felt great. It felt fantastic.
God,
which contradicts everything I was saying before.
Coming over on that plane, you must have just thought, this is it.
This is it. I was super excited, and I was speaking to some friends before, and I would have thought that I would look back on that decision and say, that was terrible. I don't know why I did that. I had a decent job in Australia. I could have saved up to buy a house. Everything was kind of set.
Oh, that's interesting. So it wasn't like you were just bumming around at that time. You had a job. You left that job to come to this job.
Absolutely.
Okay, yeah, that is a risk.
No, it was. I could see my life going in kind of it was a fork in the road, really. I could play it safe in Australia, where you earn enough money, you can buy a house, a very safe, comfortable life. In Australia, it's a pretty good place to live, to be honest. It's a great place to raise kids. Or I could go to London, where you're going to lose a lot of money on rent, you're going to lose a lot of money on the things that you want to do, and you're going to set yourself back by about 3 or 4 years, 5 years, and you're going to come out at the end of it with not much money saved. And I was like, I want to do that because that sounds like a lot more fun. And
congratulations. I think that's great. That's very admirable. I like that attitude.
But it's... A lot of people say it's commendable, but
see, there's me saying risk taking is cool.
Exactly.
It's kind of like a typical response. Oh, that's cool.
But it's
oh my god, I can't believe you got away with that.
It's what excites you at the end of the day, isn't it?
You're a thoughtful person. You think about things. You express yourself kind of very cogently. Is that thoughtfulness something you've always had? Is it something you've built up over life? Do you remember back in your hedonistic clubbing DJing days where you were thoughtless, and this has just slowly developed, or have you always thought about these things?
No, I wouldn't think so, because I would say I've always been a naturally curious person, but I've always, looking back and in hindsight, I've always surrounded myself with people who are older than me, and especially my older brothers and his friends, and all brilliant people, all very, very smart, articulate, and very curious people as well. So I've always, amongst them, I've always been very silent, because I attributed their intelligence as far above my own. So it was very, I just found a need to just listen to whatever they had to say. But over time I realized that you could have a voice of your own, and you can have thoughts of your own, and eventually you come out of that shell. But I would say a lot of the time, especially growing up, my mom said I was the silence amongst both.
That's interesting. So you were the silent one, you were the watcher, you were the listener, and you were the thinker.
Oh, yeah, I don't know if I was thinking. I was definitely listening. Maybe I was thinking. I don't know. But I was always very silent and observant. And
did you come from a noisy family? You've mentioned your brothers. You've mentioned the fact that your mum kind of commented on you being the silent one. What kind of family setup was it? Was it a noisy family?
I would say it was a fairly regular family. Some level of noise, I suppose. My younger brother was very, very loud and talkative growing up, and my older brother was very, very loud and talkative as well.
And you're stuck between these two.
I was stuck between the two. I was just the middle child. I was just the middle child between the two, and both my parents were extremely smart and brilliant. So it was great to learn from them as well. So I think being the silent and observant one, I don't think I'm any more. I would probably say of the three of us, I'm probably the least intelligent out of the two.
I'm sure you're doing yourself down there.
No, certainly trust me. I was definitely the least intelligent out of the two of them. They were brilliant in their studies and academically.
That's
and everything.
Difficult though. If you've got two very loud, brilliant brothers either side, didn't it make you feel like,
it definitely does.
Where's my place in this?
It definitely does. It definitely does. But I think I was putting myself down up until the point in time when I moved out of home and realized you're on your own now, because I moved to Australia when I was 18, and you're on your own.
Okay, so this is the different part of the story. So Australia's not always been there.
No, I was born in Malaysia.
You mentioned putting yourself down. internally. We're stuck between two dogs.
Yeah.
It's like a stereo barking match.
Can you hear them coming through? They just need to say hi to each other. I was putting myself down because I just knew I was lazy. That's where the inherently lazy part of me comes in, because I knew I didn't need to study. I don't see the point of this. I feel like there's other things for me out in the world. How wrong I was, because you need to have discipline in some area of your life. So it was when I moved to Australia and realized, oh, you're completely on your own. You have to pay rent, you have to get a job whilst you're in university, you have to cook for yourself. I think every man goes through this at some point in time in their life, whether late or early. You are completely on your own, and the things that join into your life are a privilege. You have to go through this life knowing that you have to support yourself, you're completely on your own, and there's some solitude in knowing that, really.
And you forced yourself to do that. I mean, what was moving to Australia your idea?
It was necessary because we had Australian passports before we moved there, but staying in Malaysia and going to university there was never an option if you wanted to succeed in anything. We could go to university for Australia for free, and so we realized, my parents said you have to move to Australia essentially. So it was a great step, 100%. I don't look back on it at all. But it forces you to grow up. When you leave home at 18 and you have to fend for yourself, it forces you.
And it must have also forced you to be more outgoing.
For sure, absolutely.
Because you can't just like be the quiet one.
You can't. You can't seclude yourself.
Otherwise
anymore.
you'll sink.
No, absolutely. Like you do, it's sink or swim really. And I like that sink or swim place that people have to be thrust into, because it's a testament of not only your intelligence but your resilience, and I think resilience trumps intelligence every single day. And you need to, I think everyone should master that skill or try and be as resilient as possible.
So, having done the sink or swim, gone through it, worked out you could swim, that kind of gives you confidence.
It does.
That gives you a life skill and adaptability. And you must carry that with you and have carried it forward ever since. That step change, from then on, you never went back to being the quiet one.
No, I wouldn't say so. I was, I would say it forces you into, it forces and molds your character. I wouldn't say it forces you to be active or outgoing or anything. It kind of humbles you and gives you a sense of belief in yourself that, okay, I've done this, I know I'm capable, so I can master or get over whatever happens next. Like the one thing I always tell myself whenever I'm going through a tough time or a hard moment or work's really stressful or anything, and I tell myself, look, you've made it this far, so you probably can make it up. Like you will make it after this. And I like to think of my future self in the sense that you'll probably look back at this point in time of your life and probably laugh at how much you used to worry about all the little things that you did. Because I look back at some of the things I did when I was 18 or 17 and I was completely worried about and stressed over, and I was like, this is the end of my life. And I just like laugh. It's like, it's so stupid to look back at yourself and realize the things you used to worry about and how you used to conflate everything and make it so big. But yeah, I think you do have to practice that resilience and practice that sink or swim approach and try and put yourself into as many of those situations as possible to try and come out of it the other side.